Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing my Sun Through the Houses series in Synastry. In this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your sun falling into someone's 5th house in Synastry, or their sun falling into your 5th house in Synastry. So how does it feel when we have this very yummy, pleasurable overlay happening in the Synastry relationship chart comparison? So this one is probably the most romantic of all of the overlays. So it is very common in a romance or love affair, or even in a long-term romantic relationship, because of the feelings of pleasure and the erotic energy that it can bring. So the sun person can really light up the house person's creativity, their feeling of pleasure and enjoyment in life. They both can feel a lot of pleasure and enjoyment in each other's presence. Joy is a big keyword here. And, the way that I feel like I could best describe this is like two people giggling and kissing and enjoying all of the pleasures of life together, and enjoying each other's physical presence as well. So this one can create that feeling of seeing someone across a crowded room and just feeling like they are the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. The level of physical appreciation, and not just physical though, also romantic appreciation, is quite high. So this one can be very addictive. This overlay could cause you to overlook many other incompatibilities. So you want to really look at the whole of the synastry and see, is there actually real compatibility here, or are we just really activating each other's fantasy and pleasure centers? This is like this overlay, as well as other 5th house overlays, but the sun is the most brightest light in the natal chart. So this one tends to give you a shot of euphoria, and it could be like even like the other person is a drug. So just be aware, this is a really good one to have, because you do want to enjoy life together, in a long-term relationship. This is a very fun one. You're gonna really like each other, but you just want to make sure there's real compatibility in other areas, and not a whole bunch of like crazy Neptune and Pluto or something that would actually show that this is like super toxic and not the best to commit in a long-term way. And this overlay, 5th house doesn't necessarily create the feeling of like, I want to commit to this, because even on some level, being together is like an escape. It's like a vacation. And so sometimes people with a heavy 5th house emphasis in the synastry or composite chart, they don't actually want to commit. This is more of a fun fling, right? And we could have other things in our synastry that would show otherwise, but it's not. 5th house doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I want to commit to this person. In some cases, you might feel differently, because you might feel like, oh, this is the fun person, but I've got my serious person over here that I want to marry, as shown by Saturn and like, more longevity aspects, right? But yeah, this one of sun falling into partner's 5th house is very exciting, very fun, very addictive. And they both, I said originally, the 5th house person's creativity can be activated. The sun person's creativity can be activated too. The sun person really feels like they can be themselves with the 5th house person. And they both feel that. But the sun person's ego and identity and worldview really is not inhibited by the 5th house person. The sun person feels like they can really just shine and be themselves and be like a big expansive version of yourself. Like, you know, when you're with someone and you feel like you have to tone it down and like be less of yourself, that is the opposite of this overlay. This overlay is like you get to be in the fullness of you, and that can be really addicting for the sun person, you know, getting such a boost of energy and creativity and vitality. This is an energizing overlay. This is a firehouse. These people can have a lot of energy together and a lot of sex. This overlay can create a lot of energy for sex and physical pleasures, and you know, not just even sexual pleasures, even like, you know, enjoyment of each other's bodies in other ways. You know, massage and shopping and gambling. You know, they always say the fifth house is like the house of gambling. So you do want to be aware of a tendency to be more risk taking in this relationship. But if there's other, you know, aspects, if there's Jupiter going on, you could be very lucky with this person. This person could be like your good luck charm. And I said that also about the second house overlay of sun in the second house, and that's in a different way though. That's like the sun person there increases like the material wealth or the confidence of the house person in a more like steady, secure way. Now this confidence increase is more from risk taking and action and impulsiveness. So with this overlay, we can be more impulsive with someone. So fiery types are going to love this, but even for fiery types, it might be like too much, you know. It's almost like this overlay would be better for people who are more withdrawn or quiet or shy or less prone to action, you know, because then you're going to get this overlay and get such a boost and a buzz, and it's not going to be too much, right? But generally this is one that shows up in a relationship or even a friendship of people who just like each other a lot and think that the other person is the most beautiful thing, the most sexy, gorgeous, fun person. You know, there can be a lot of respect for each other too, because you just feel so much joy and warmth in their presence. So it's definitely an ego boost. The house person can feel that the sun person just lights them up and expands their creativity and helps them to let go of any shyness that they maybe have had, and just really, helps them let out their creativity. Now, the fifth house can also be associated with creativity, but also children. So the sun person could really help the fifth house person as far as with their children, or even, you know, they could have children together. They can definitely feel the procreative urge together. If this is a male-female relationship, this is a couple, right? They could have lots of children because the sun, the brightest light, is lighting up the fifth house of children, or they could just help each other with their children. The sun person could really enjoy the fifth house person's children. You know, it could be that they get a lot of pleasure from their children, right? So that can be really good. And also they could get a lot of pleasure from their children as far as like their creative children. So they're like their creative projects. The sun person can love to shine their light and help the house person boost their creativity to actually, you know, get these projects out there or do that piece of art or whatever it is. Like the sun person is like, let's do it. Like, I support you. I'm your big fan. Like, let it out, house person. And so the house person feels like, wow, I feel so good and confident around the sun person. And it can go both ways too. It can be vice versa as well, because the sun person's sun is really in a nice place here where they, like I said, they can be authentic, they can be themselves, and they feel like this romantic, exhilarating, beautiful energy together. So it can be wildly romantic and attractive, and it does tend to show up in couples because of its exhilarating qualities. And the only downside is, like what I've said, is that it's, you know, a bit of a risk-taking combination. It's can be lacking in seriousness because it is like being on a vacation with someone. So what else? I think, yeah, that's what I'll say about that one. I'd love to know your experience of this overlay. Was it like this? Was it not like this? And I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.